1 year ago, I dreamed of going to the NAMM Show, and a year later, I got to turn that dream into reality. So here is my daily recap of basically everything that happened during NAMM, from content creation to meeting with brands and just all the cool exhibits that I got to see. Definitely watch through the whole thing though, because at one point I see Charlie Puth. I'm pretty sure I spotted Dracula in real life, and I saw banana scents. So stay till the end. I traveled all the way to Anaheim, California, and even skipped half my college classes to go to the NAMM Show. And even doing all of those things and having the content creator badge, I still felt so unqualified to be there. But that didn't matter because the first day was Global Media Day. So after, trying to find it, I was thrown straight into the fire and didn't even have a chance to think about being unconfident. But to be honest with you guys, Global Media Day kind of felt like one giant unskippable ad. Essentially, these companies came out, introduced their new product, said how amazing it was, and then the next company would come on stage and do the exact same thing. So even though the products were cool, it was really boring, and I don't want to make you guys watch all that. So let's just keep going. So after that, I left, went back to try to kind of plan out my day, and I immediately became overwhelmed because the directory was just so massive and the map was huge. And I was so scared, but I was feeling a little bit more confident and ready to face day 2. I was still feeling way underqualified to be at the NAMM Show, me and my little group of 20,000 followers on Instagram and all of you guys on YouTube. But then something hyped me up. And if you can't tell, it's the drum line. I remember being nervous before halftime shows, but the little drum line cadence always got me going, got me ready to go. So with my new boost of confidence, or convinced myself of confidence, I was ready to go into the convention center, and oh my gosh, was it massive. There were so many exhibits and booths and companies that I low-key was super overwhelmed, and so I did what I always do. I found a piano. I got to test out so many different instruments, but this was a Donner piano. Check out that guy taking a picture of me in the back. That felt really cool to be a part of. I didn't ever make the Instagram page for them, but that's okay. So this is Donner Piano. I got to talk to them and some of the old sponsorships that we did and reminisce, because that was kind of my first sponsorship ever when I first started making content. So it was kind of a cool, full circle moment for me, because this is where I started. So when I first started working on the convention center, a lot of the people that I went to first were actually old sponsors. And part of the reason I did that was, number one, some of these people I'd actually never connected with in person before. It's always been online through emails, which is kind of crazy to think that that's the world we live in. And then the other reason was actually to kind of get my confidence up. Like I said before, I was feeling pretty insecure about being there. I didn't feel like I had enough of a following to say, oh yeah, I'm a content creator, this is what I do. So getting to, visualize what I have done and actually talk to these brands that I've worked with before was just a way that I could help myself visualize that I can do this and I deserve to be here. You guys have seen Craft Geek before, but they want to collab again, and they gave me a sticker, so stay tuned for that, like the sticker says. And then I got to actually meet with David Snyder at the Kawaii booth. If you don't know who David Snyder is, he's not only an amazing pianist, but he's also an amazing composer and a really nice person. And he said, let's totally meet up at NAMM because I like his content, he likes my content, so that's what we did. Meeting David Snyder was actually so amazing. Number one, he's super nice. And number two, he was so chill and so excited for me to be there too, which is something that I hadn't experienced yet at NAMM. Most of the people and the brands that I was talking to didn't actually know who I was, minus my old sponsors. So I got to meet him, and then I got to meet, there's a whole group of content creators, and I actually got put into a creation group chat. What? That's crazy. And so I started getting understand their stories, what kind of content they make, how they start all of this, and how many times they've been at NAMM, because this was the first time for me. So after getting in that group chat, I actually got to plan and be a part of the content creation that was going to start happening at NAMM Day 2 or 3, the next day. Before the day ended though, I went to X5, which is a company that I've also worked with before. They have some really good microphones and some new ones, and I actually got a hat from that, which maybe I'll put a picture in here. And then of course I had to go see Benson Boone's piano. He's one of my favorite artists. Other than that, I just kept low-key walking around the convention hall, just kind of in awe, because I was just so overwhelmed and shocked by just the amount of things. They even had band stuff there, more pianos that would play themselves, which was an anomaly to me, and oh yeah, there's me being shocked,
and even a creator lounge where I literally get to go hang out with other creators and pretend like I was uploading content because I definitely forgot. Then it was finally time for Charlie Puth. I mean, look at him. How exciting is this?
Charlie Puth was so inspirational that I didn't want to just like voice over and try to summarize what he said. So here's some of my favorite points that I caught on video and just enjoy them.
What is this here? So then I was like, okay, now we gotta feel like we're in like 1994. Now, I don't mean to preach at you right now. We're all here for the love of music. This is amazing. I know we have time for probably one more. There's such an important role as artists and producers and songwriters in here in the day and age where everything is, people are having birthday parties and they're just typing in, birthday party music and it's all artificially made. This is the most important time to be human right now.
After already being so inspired by Charlie Puth, I then got to go to a worship night at NAMM. And that was one of the most low-key, beautiful, and breathtaking moments of my entire life. And I just got to see kind of God's blessing and greatness on my life. And I low-key cried. I definitely cried.
The worship night was, like I said, one of the most powerful things that happened to me at NAMM. I was able to understand how far God had taken me. They sang the song Worthy of It All. And the first time I heard that, I was a junior in college. I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. Senior year was coming up, college was coming up. And to be able to hear, obviously I've heard it before, but be able to sing it here at NAMM, where I got to come here because I'm a content creator. And I do music, and this is kind of the lifestyle that God has brought me through. And he's like, look how far I brought you. Like, I have a plan for you. You just need to trust me. It's kind of like, here's the evidence of my hand in your life. So that was why it was just so powerful to me.
Also, I just have to include this Uber drive here because it was so funny. So, enjoy. So, currently at the Hawaii booth, and we're all filming content. Which is so sick.
Crazy. Mind-blowing experience.
Literally. Yeah, but he said a literal mind-blowing experience. I got to film content with some of the most famous people that I had ever met. And enjoyed it so much because I got to be around content creators, which I'm not around in Oklahoma because there's like none here. I got to spend time building relationships with these people and learning so much from them. So definitely keep an eye out in your content feed because you're going to see some giant collaborations coming up. So after I watched some more cool performances and checked out some clear pianos, like what? I continued to go back onto the floor because I actually had a meeting with the one and only JBL. So I met this girl, her name was Madeline. She took me around all their different microphones and even some of their speaker systems.
So the JBL meeting, they introduced me to a lot of new microphones, like I said, specifically some ones that are really good quality, but on the cheaper side for smaller content creators like me, or maybe even you. She was also super sweet and was like, hey, you do, so we got to talking because she was also in her 20s. And I don't know, there's just like this girl sisterhood when you're talking to someone who's also in their 20s and kind of going through like the same phase of life. And she said there's a social media position opening up in a couple months and that I should reach out to her. So we'll see, but definitely keep an eye out in February and hopefully we'll have some JBL sponsorships coming through.
My next meeting was with a company called Loopfish. Now, if you don't know what Loopfish is, that's okay because I didn't either. But I want you to notice that this guy is singing with people on screens who are not even close to where he is.
Actually, what Loopfish is it's like this box that you plug into your computer and someone else plugs into their computer, and it reduces the delay time to like point something milliseconds. So instead of like, when you're trying to play music with someone on the phone and they play note it like 1 second later, which doesn't sound like that big of a deal at a time, but it is a huge difference when you're trying to do music. 1 second off like can ruin the whole rhythm and the whole beat and tempo and so I actually got to demo it and I'll put a little clip up here. But yeah, it was a really, really cool product and something that I definitely would love to receive so I can share with you guys, especially for those who are teaching virtually. That's another great use for it.
After both of those meetings, I went and checked out some big name brands like Martin Company. I saw a weird bass guitar thing. I don't really know what that was. And now feeling way more comfortable, I actually went out and explored and continued to actually sit and talk to brands about, you know, what they were doing, what they were creating, and if they would be interested in a sponsorship, like these ukuleles that are tuned in C but not tuned. I don't know, really small brands that I can maybe help with social media or do a collaboration with soon. More and more brands that I talk to, I learned how to not only one, introduce myself and get a conversation started, but two, make an actual connection and relationship and network. So keep your eye out for some new collaborations, but right now I just want to show you some of the cool instruments like the plastic trumpet, that electric ukulele, and then an electric violin. Oh, and did I mention a banana synth where you could play a banana? Oh, and the other thing was an uru, which I've always wanted to play, but that looked way too fancy for me to ask and try. Other than that, I got to try out a bunch of cool music technology, spotted Dracula out in the wild, and yeah, just really got to enjoy NAMM Day 3. After walking through the hall one last time and looking at the rest of the booth, I got a little sentimental because I felt like I had grown so much while I was here, even though it was just such a short time. And I got to say goodbye to the NAMM Show 2026.
Thank you guys so much for watching NAMM through my eyes and getting to kind of see some of the experiences and things I've learned with content creation, confidence, and building a business. So definitely stay tuned for the next video, and you should definitely go to NAMM next year. So if you do, I'll definitely see you there.